I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Imagine that this week, just this week, these next 7 days, you gave everything you had. Not next month, not after the holiday, not when the conditions are better or the motivation is higher or life feels more manageable. This week, the one that's already in motion, the one that started the same as every other week, unremarkable and ordinary on the surface. What would that actually look like? What would change if you woke up every morning this week and decided before your feet hit the floor that you were going to show up completely? No half measures, no saving energy for a version of yourself that might feel more ready later, no coasting through the middle of the day waiting for the hours to pass, just full, honest, deliberate effort every single day for 7 days. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you actually did that? Welcome to Motivation Daily. This is March 13th, and this week I want to challenge you to do something most people never do, not because it's impossible, but because they never decided to. Here is something I've noticed about the way most of us move through our weeks. We operate at about 60%, maybe 70% on a good day. We do enough to get by, enough to keep the plates spinning, enough to avoid falling too far behind. But we rarely, genuinely rarely, operate at full capacity. We rarely spend a whole week living like the version of ourselves we know we're capable of being. And the reason isn't laziness. I don't think most people are lazy. The reason is that we've never truly committed to a finite window of time and held ourselves to it. A week feels manageable. It's not the rest of your life. It's not a permanent overhaul. It's 7 days. And 7 days of full effort, real, sustained, nothing held back effort is enough to shift something. In your results, yes, but more importantly, in your belief about what you're capable of. Because here's what happens when you go all in for even a short stretch of time. You start to see yourself differently. You accumulate evidence that you can do hard things, that you can keep promises to yourself, that the discipline you've been doubting you have, it's actually there. It was always there. It just needed to be called on. Think about the last time you were truly locked in. Maybe it was a deadline that forced your hand, a crisis that demanded your full attention, a moment where the stakes were high enough that coasting simply wasn't an option. Remember how sharp you felt? Remember how much you got done? Remember how alive it made you feel to be operating at that level? That wasn't a special version of you. That was just you, uncapped. And you don't need a crisis to access that. You need a decision. So what does a week of everything look like in practice? Because I don't want this to be abstract. I want it to be real and actionable and something you can actually start today. It starts with your mornings. This week, own the first hour. Before the phone, before the noise, before the world starts pulling at you in 12 directions, give that first hour to the thing that matters most. Your work, your health, your mind, whatever area of your life most needs your best self, give it the hour when your best self is most available. Then, your focus. This week, when you sit down to do something important, actually do it. Close the tabs, silence the notifications, give the task in front of you the full weight of your attention. You will be astonished at what becomes possible when you stop dividing yourself and start directing yourself. Then your body. This week, move it every day. Not because you have to, because a body in motion generates the energy that makes everything else possible. You cannot show up fully mentally if you are running on no sleep, poor food, and zero movement. The physical is the foundation. Treat it like one. And finally, your attitude. This week, catch yourself every time you reach for a complaint, a criticism, an excuse, or a reason why something can't be done, and replace it with a question. What can I do? What's the next step?
What would the person I'm trying to become do right here, right now? That's it. Mornings, focus, body, attitude. 7 days, full effort. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be present. There is a difference. Perfect is a standard that paralyzes. Present is a choice you can make in every single moment, regardless of what happened 5 minutes ago. You're going to have moments this week where you slip, where the old habits pull harder than the new intentions, where you check the phone when you said you wouldn't, or skip the workout, or let a bad hour turn into a bad day. That's not failure. That's human. The question isn't whether you'll have those moments. You will. The question is what you do in the moment after. Whether you write off the whole day or whether you reset and keep going. Progress is not a straight line, but effort, consistent, committed, I mean it this time effort, bends the line upward over time. And 1 week of that is enough to feel the difference, enough to remember what you're made of, enough to build the kind of momentum that makes the week after this one a little easier, and the week after that easier still. So here is my ask. When this video ends, don't just feel inspired. Decide. Decide that this week is different. Not because everything in your life is suddenly aligned, but because you are done waiting for alignment before you give your best. 7 days. Everything you have. Starting right now. What are you waiting for? If you're taking this challenge, say so in the comments. Just write "this week" and let that be your commitment. Share this with someone who needs a push to make this week count. Subscribe to Motivation Daily and come back every single day this week. We'll be right here with you. See you tomorrow. Keep going.